Brown spots in turf can be an indication of poor sprinkler performance. While there are many possible causes, including clogged nozzles, poor head placement, or even disease, the problem is often pressure related. In these situations, the problem is usually identified as a circular pattern of stressed turf. Locating the cause of the problem can be difficult, especially if you've already ruled out any pressure loss at the source. Here are a couple of other steps you can take to diagnose issues with nozzles and pressure. First, make sure that the nozzles installed are correct for the head spacing. For example, if the head spacing is 15 feet and the nozzles have a 12-foot radius, you will not get the head-to-head coverage needed to properly water the turf. Even with the correct nozzles, you can still have brown spots if the radius or arc of the nozzle is not properly adjusted. Both of these issues are fairly easily solved. If the head spacing, nozzle, and nozzle adjustments are all correct, the next thing to check is the operating pressure at the head, specifically the pressure at the first and last heads in the problem zone. Verify that the pressure is within the recommended operating range for the nozzle in the manufacturer's nozzle performance chart. A pressure differential of more than 10% between the first and last head could mean that you have too many sprinklers on the zone. The way dynamic pressure is measured depends on the type of heads installed. With pop-up spray heads, you'll use a tool from Hunter called a pressure gauge adapter. This adapter allows you to connect a pressure gauge between the stem of the sprinkler and the nozzle. The pressure gauge adapter only works with spray head bodies that accept female threaded nozzles. Larger turf areas are typically irrigated with rotors, like the Hunter PGP or I-Series. To test the pressure of a rotor, you'll use a pitot tube. This is a smaller version of the device used on an aircraft to measure airspeed. Connect the pitot tube directly to a pressure gauge, or use a short length of hose between the pitot tube and the pressure gauge. Turn on the system and take your reading, holding the pitot tube in the stream 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch from the face of the nozzle. You'll need to hold the pitot tube in the stream long enough to get a clear and consistent reading. It's a little tricky and you will get wet. Another way to troubleshoot pressure issues is to use a flow tube and a 5-gallon bucket. A flow tube is simply a short length of 4-inch pipe with an elbow at the top. Place the flow tube over the sprinkler, allow time for the ground to saturate and the pipe to fill, then slide the 5-gallon bucket under the elbow and time how long it takes to fill the bucket. For an accurate measurement, be sure to verify the 5-gallon level of the bucket in advance. To calculate the result, divide 5 by the number of seconds that it took to fill the bucket, then multiply that number by 60. This will tell you the nozzle's output in gallons per minute. Referring to the manufacturer's nozzle performance chart, cross-reference the gallons per minute calculated to the pressure range for the sprinkler nozzle measured to determine the dynamic pressure. This, of course, only scratches the surface of troubleshooting irrigation pressure problems. To learn more, visit our education page online at ewingirrigation.com.